Hello lovely people of YouTube, my name's Lillian. Today I'm going to be talking about the astrological sign Aries, the very beginning of the zodiac, and we're going to be going all through the 12 signs. I encourage you to please like this video and subscribe if you're interested in more content like such, because there is going to be a lot more coming from me. So if you're interested in learning more about the overall energies of Aries and what I personally think are their most positive traits, their most negative traits, something that I personally just love about the sign, and keep on watching. Okay, so this video, I just want to put it out there, is going to be more of a general overview of the energies that kind of surround the sign of Aries. To clarify something, when I look at each sign, I'm not necessarily looking at it from a solely psychological perspective like a lot of people think that most astrologers do. There are many disciplines within astrology, so I just want to put it out there that this is the sign of Aries, and if you are born between the dates where you would be considered an Aries, then this will apply to you, but you have to understand that astrology and natal charts are very complicated and a lot more than most people think. So just because you are a sun sign Aries, that doesn't mean that it's going to apply to you wholeheartedly. So just keep that in mind, because I feel like a lot of people think that there's only one sign to them, and that's not true. We're all complex beings. I think that we deserve to be analyzed as such. Before I go on a rant about misconceptions with astrology, I just want to give out some basics about the overall energy of the sign Aries. And a few important things to know about this sign is that it is a cardinal fire sign, and it is the baby of the zodiac, so it always comes first in the wheel. Typically astrologers gave these archetypes to the sign of Aries because it is the first. It is considered the first stage of development, and I think that Aries get that childish rep a lot of the time because they are the very beginning of the zodiac, and that means that they tend to be a little more self-centered and self-serving. And I don't want to say that in a negative way, because I think that it's important to be self-serving to a certain point. With Aries, because they are the first of the zodiac, they do have an emphasis on the self, because of that people with heavy Aries energy can sometimes seem as self-serving and selfish and a bit childish. There's a misconception that some signs and energies are better than others in the zodiac, and I just want to completely say that's not true. There's polarity within each sign, and there, just like there are positive manifestations of some, there are also negative manifestations to the exact same sign. What does it mean to be a cardinal fire sign? So within the modalities, there are three. There are cardinal, which Aries falls under the category. There are mutable, and then there are fixed. Cardinal signs, they are kind of seen as like the beginning of new season, you could say. They're known as the types of energies that want to start new things. They're inventive, they're passionate, they're creative, they want to get things done. Well, maybe not done, but started. They want to get things started. And I think that another thing that a lot of people that might have a lot of Aries energy, they kind of get that rep as well as being the type that start a billion projects and they never finish any of them. And they're just kind of sitting there scratching their head like, where did it all go wrong? Well, it's because they're ruled by a lot of cardinal energy, which means that you're going to want to start a lot of things, but you might have a lot of issues finishing them depending on what the rest of your natal chart looks like. Aries is also a fire sign, so that kind of goes perfectly in hand with those attributes that I already told you guys about. So that creative, want to start new things type energy, it goes really well with the fire element, because fire is very passionate, fire is very creative, fire is very driven. It might not last as long as other elements, they might burn out quicker. Those two energies really encompass what Aries is all about. Aries is all about starting new things, change, inventing, not inventing, but just, that's more Aquarius, more so starting new things, starting new ventures. Also going back to the whole fiery thing. So the sign of Aries is often associated with the god of war. Aries is the god of war, and the close association is with the planet Mars, because Mars rules Aries. Mars has these kind of like warlike, well, because they're mixed, right? So Aries tends to take on some of those Mars qualities, which tend to be very like warlike, go-getter, and aggressive, in your face, like we're gonna get this done type energy. That's very Mars. You'll notice that with a lot of signs that are ruled by Mars. So for example, Scorpio is also ruled by Mars. So they have that same type of like battlefield energy to them, but I feel like Aries takes it to a more forefront type energy, whereas Scorpio is more subdued and they're a little bit more secretive about their, I don't want to say viciousness, but just overall warlike mentality. That's kind of like the overall energy of Aries. They're young at heart, they're courageous. They want to start new things. They want to see new places. They're very go, go, go. I don't like other slow energies that kind of take a long time to think about things or nervous easily. They are very confident, and that's where that fire plays the role in helping them be so confident. They can be really great with physical activities, so whether it be military type stuff, sports, anything that's very action driven, Aries will be all over that. Aries is a very masculine sign, it's a very warlike sign, and so I feel like that's why sometimes Aries ladies get deemed as like one of the boys or like a big tomboy, because they want to win. They want to prove to you that like they can do it better than you and quicker than you, and not make it to work the next day, but they sure as hell beat you at chugging those beers. What are the main pros and cons to this sign? How have they been seen in both polarities through the study of astrology? Let's start with the good. Great thing about Aries is that they're very courageous. They will be the first to speak up when they feel like something is not right to them, or something that's not being directed properly at them. They don't like feeling like they're being taken advantage of or being walked all over. I think that a really positive thing about Aries is that they really know how to stand up for themselves and for others if they feel like it. If they feel like they have something to gain out of it. No, I'm just kidding. They really know how to stand up for themselves. They really know how to speak out for themselves and really know how to put and value themselves first. And I think that that's something that everybody should really learn to do, because it is an important trait to have. They're down for everything and anything. As long as it's new and not boring, they're down for it. And if it's like action packed, even better. If you invite them to like a cliff in the desert, they can climb up the cliff, they will be more than happy. Very competitive. So they're very competitive. They really love to be winners. So they really know how to play the game, whatever game they're playing, they know how to play it. Most of the time Aries are seen as winners because they don't allow themselves to be anything other than that. It's like childish, fun energy to them. They're always down for like a good time. They love learning new things, although they'll never become experts at it per se, but like they love learning new things. That's really what grabs their attention. See, like the theme new. They really love feeling like they're being like called to like a battle almost. They like that like call to action type energy. Like if there's something like going wrong in their lives and they feel like it's either they act now or like their life is ruined, they'll act now. Be the kind that's just gonna like sit there and like scratch their head and think about it for like 20 years. Like they will go ahead and do it right then and there, and like even though it might not be the best decision long term, at least they did something, right? At least they didn't just stay stagnant. At least they learned from it and evolved from it. Maybe they didn't learn from it. Definitely experienced something new that hopefully they can apply to their future. You know how to seize opportunities as well, because they always have their eye out on things that are going to make them better, things that are going to benefit them, things that are going to serve the self, right? Because Aries is the first sign of the zodiac, so they're very interested in self-serving ventures. And I don't say that in a negative way. I mean, it can manifest in a negative way, and we'll touch base on that in a second, but also be good, right? If they're more of a balanced type person and they know when to take the opportunity and when they maybe feel like they shouldn't because they might be taking advantage of somebody, know how to discern what's going to be good for them and what isn't. And it's almost because they know themselves very well. Aries, I feel like, is the one sign that really knows themselves well, and they're not the type that are going to be peer pressured into things. Like they're cool being like a lone wolf going in their own discovery for the next thrill. Like they don't really care to be a part of the group. They want to be like the leader of the group. That's the thing. Like Aries, they also, because they want to get things done and they want new things, they really don't like hanging around energies that are like kind of more negative with new ideas or like nervous energies. So like, for example, like Virgo, like I'm a Virgo and I love Aries. I have a lot of Aries friends, but the one thing I feel like they always didn't like about me was that I just thought way too much and just like didn't want to just like dive into things head first. Like I definitely have some like nervous energy to me, like a lot of Virgos do, or even Geminis, because they're both Mercury ruled. Like a lot of Aries people, they get turned off by that. They want someone that's going to be spontaneous with them and that like is down to go for the adventure. They don't want to be with someone that's going to be like, did we pack enough toilet paper? That's me. It's also good though, because like Aries, they tend to not plan for things a lot. So like it might be useful to have someone like a Virgo around, because Capricorn, because you know that they're gonna make sure that like you have everything. Like worst case Ontario, you have everything. That's something that Aries energy does appreciate about the more money type energies. They kind of balance them out a little bit, but I feel like if they're starting a new business or they're going on a new adventure or they, you know, are starting something like that, they really want someone that's just going to be like a go-getter like them and that isn't really thinking about all the details. They're more like, we'll figure it out along the run. Okay, so some of the cons of Aries energy. So this, I'm a Virgo, so I'm really critical, so this is gonna come easier than the positive traits. Lack the foresight to get things done in the long term because they're so focused on new ideas. They get distracted by new ideas like every day. They really have like that like foresight to like plan things out to the very end and therefore complete them. So like you'll find a lot of Aries, like they have a lot of unfinished projects or things that they're like, oh yeah, I started that, but like 10 years later it's still not done. Like that's them. On the more positive manifestation of that, they might have like a lot of like projects going at once that like maybe are really successful. Maybe they like start the ideas and then they like hire people to run the show for them. That might really work for people that, you know, have a lot of Aries energy. They just want to like throw the ideas out there, but they don't really want to like deal with the day-to-day mundane details of it, you know? It will manifest in a more negative way if like maybe you don't have the resources to hire more people to help you, or like, you know, maybe you're in school and like you invested a lot of money in getting your, you know, diploma or degree and like you don't finish. That's the thing with Aries. They tend to not be able to finish a lot of things. Although they do have that drive, like I said, fire energy. It takes they need more fuel to keep the fire going. They burn out quick. They're very like in your face and like fiery and like amazing in the moment, but then they like burn out really quick and then they need some time to rest and rethink about something new that's going to excite them, and so the cycle continues. The negative thing about Aries, they can really come off as abrasive sometimes, especially if you piss them off. Like I feel like for the most part they kind of try and keep that under wraps because they know that it's a bit of a turnoff for some people, but feel threatened, or if they feel like you're threatening their goal or their like leadership skills, they will literally cut you. Like they will cut you. Don't play around with that. Like anything that has to do with like you calling them out on like any type of like moral or like integrity basis of like what they've done as like leaders, or like just like, you know, their intentions, they don't like that because like they know deep down that like, yeah, they are very self-serving, and so, you know, they take leadership very seriously, so they don't want someone that's gonna like turn heads and make all of their followers be like, oh my god, this person's actually an asshole. That like they are deep down assholes or anything, but it's just like maybe they want to hide these motives because like they know that some people maybe don't understand them, right? Self-serving and aggressive about their self-interest if they feel like they're being threatened. Goes for like, you know, their relationships too, or like just like things they hold very dear to them. If they feel like that those things are being threatened, like you will see those Mars characteristics come out so quick. Like they will literally turn into a warrior and you're like, what just happened? Like this person just morphed right in front of my eyes. Be very like quick triggered. That's another thing I totally forgot. The Aries can be very quickly triggered, and that kind of plays into the whole like Mars thing because Mars is a very reactive planet and it's a very quick planet and it's a very fiery planet. Aries is going to encompass all of those things. You'll see very quickly triggered as well. They'll try and hide that because they don't want to give other people like the satisfaction of them seeing how they really get so easily triggered, but like that's just how they are. It is what it is. I'm gonna say like this is how they are as in like the like Aries people, because I feel like that can be misconstrued. I just mean like that's what the energy is like. So if you have a lot of Aries energy in your chart, you're gonna portray a lot of those traits. Not to say that that's how you are like wholeheartedly, but that's just how you're gonna manifest those traits a lot of the time, or that's a lot of the energy that you're gonna give off to people, you know? It's gonna be very clear to them. Quickly triggered, they need to win. Like if Aries doesn't win, like no one wins. They can cut people off real quick too if they feel like they're like threatening their integrity as well. Kind of be babies sometimes. Like if they don't get their way, they're gonna like throw a fuss, which kind of goes into like that like quickly triggered type energy. They can snap real quick, but then like 10 minutes later when like they've cooled down, they act like nothing happened. It's like, Becky, you just slapped me in that other room and now it's like 15 minutes later and you're acting like we're best friends. You asked me to go out to lunch. Like, what the fuck? That is such Aries energy. Like forget what just happened like 5 seconds ago, because it's like as soon as they cool off, it's like they're good. It's like very quick. Just like they're quick to start things, they're just as quick to not do them or not finish them. And that goes the same with like their anger, right? They can be really pissed one second and like lose their mind. You think the world's gonna end, but then the next second they're totally cool, and it's like, okay. Like, so it's just kind of really confusing for a lot of people, especially people that are not as like passionate as them. Like, they're just not gonna understand it, and they're either gonna be like really uncomfortable and scared by that, or they're gonna be like, I love you. Maybe I went a little more in depth into the Collins, but my turn to be biased and tell you what my favorite thing about the energy of Aries is. I say I'm biased is because I do really like Aries energy. I had a lot of friends growing up that were Aries. My personal favorite thing about Aries, I had a best friend, well, she's still my best friend, but we don't live in the same city anymore, so I don't see her as much. But growing up, we were literally attached at the hip, and anybody that knows me from my hometown knows who I'm talking about. Yeah, her and I were like attached at the hip, and she was an Aries, and one of the things that I really admired about her was how she just didn't give a shit. Like, she didn't care about what other people said about her. She always the first one to like stick up for herself, push back without being shy. And I always really admired that, because I feel like I've always had a really hard time at like myself and really being like my own protector. And I feel like that's such a good description of Aries. They really know how to protect themselves very well, and they really know how to defend themselves really well. And so any incoming threat, you can expect they're gonna like squash you. Some of them might hit you, but for the most part, the not troubled Aries individuals, they're just gonna like be very fiery with their words. Like, they're just gonna put you in your place verbally, and you're just gonna run the other way, because you're gonna be like, whoa, you're really quiet that whole time, and then like I just like attacked you because I thought you were weak, and then like you weren't, and now I'm terrified. That's like a very Aries thing. You know, they're cool because they can kind of like go with the flow, but they also really know how to like emerge as a leader when it's needed. Really know how to just set trends and pave the way for people that maybe like are too nervous to pave their own. So that's something I've always admired about Aries. I love their fun, passionate, childlike energy. I love how they stick up for the things they love, know how to stand up for themselves, and they really just don't give a shit about what other people think. As long as you're totally tearing down their character and like calling them out for their selfishness, then they'll be even more pissed, but they're never going to show you that like you hurt them deep down. They're just going to like be very aggressive towards you, hate you for 10 minutes, and then they'll invite you to dinner. That's another thing I like about Aries. They really know how to like let go of things, and like they know how to hash things out. Like, in the moment they'll be very intense and you think they're never gonna get over it, but they eventually do. They don't hold a grudge like Scorpios do. That's the other side of Mars energy. Aries, which is like the more forgiving. I don't even mean forgiving for their sake, for other people's sake, for more so for their sake. It's like, I can't be mad at this person, because if I do, then I'm not gonna have anybody to go have dinner with tonight, so I better like chill now. Whereas like Scorpio, like if you fuck them over, they're like, I don't care, I'll eat alone for the rest of my life just to prove to that person that I don't need them and that they hurt me and they can go to hell. I hope that was informative for you guys. I hope that you guys had fun listening to me ramble about Aries. If there are any people that are ruled by heavy Aries energy, I hope you don't hate me. I just thought that this would be a fun beginning to my astrology journey here on YouTube. If you like this video, please like and subscribe, and hit the bell if you want to be notified when I'm going to be posting new videos. The next one coming up is going to be Taurus, so stay tuned. Bye guys.